1999, the GSA has provided over 9,800 firearms to state and local law enforcement agencies through its surplus firearm donation program. And this program has helped to ensure that our law enforcement agencies have the necessary tools to protect and serve the American people. However, today's hearing is about a disconcerting finding by the GSA Inspector Generals that the firearms program is being poorly administered. The IG found that a program besieged by mismanagement, poor inventory, accounting procedures, and reliance on outdated and ineffective data management tools. The results of these problems are a system that the IG found to be placing firearms such as grenade launchers, Uzis, M16s in a situation that is ripe for theft and loss. Allowing extremely dangerous firearms to be managed so carelessly is deplorable. The government needs to get its house in order. GSA is managing the firearms donations program using a haphazard system consisting of a digitally ancient web platform, disorganized and practically unusable paper files, and spreadsheets riddled with incorrect and missing information. When the IG began its evaluation of the surplus firearms donation program, the record-keeping system was so poor, in fact, that the IG could not even fully finish its review. The IG found that this program, which must track thousands of dangerous weapons throughout the country, was being administered using this paper file system. And the paper files that the GSA officials described as the backbone, according to them, of the program. These paper files were, for practical purposes, incapable of being used to keep track of the firearms. The IG was told by the sole individual, one individual, managing and tracking the program, that it would take days to search the files for a single item. To compensate, the administrator of the program resorted to creating a spreadsheet to track nearly 10,000 firearms spread across 831 different law enforcement agencies. Yet these spreadsheets were really in no better shape than the paper files. The spreadsheets contained information that contradicted the paper files and the digital records. The spreadsheets were missing information critical to knowing the location and use of the firearms. The only other way that the firearms were able to be located was through a web platform that had not been updated since 1999. Let me repeat that these firearms were being managed using a program that is now over 16 years old. All told, the menagerie of half-accurate, unsearchable, pre-new millennial software, paper, and spreadsheets created a system where the firearms were practically impossible to accurately be tracked. This atrocious quality of the program's records resulted in the IG being unable to even verify the GSA's reported number of missing firearms. The current program manager, the sole individual overseeing this program, identified the need to create a better tracking system early on and communicated that need. Yet despite the fact that the GSA knew about the deficiencies, the agency appears to have only begun to address the deficiencies in light of the IG's report. This poor system contributed to hundreds of firearms going missing. Between 2001 and 2016, 485 firearms went missing. Of these, only 25 firearms were ever found. That's right, 25 of 485, which is just unbelievable. Among those firearms that went missing were a set of 130 handguns, 5 Uzi submachine guns, and a pair of, get this, grenade launchers. In each of these instances, the firearms were sold to private gun shops, which are not allowed under the program and appears to have never been recovered. In fact, the GSA IG discovered yesterday that 2 of the missing grenade launchers were now located in Florida and Colorado and available for sale to the general public. In some cases, the firearms would go missing for as long as a decade, yes, 10 years, before anyone realized the firearms were not where they were supposed to be. It is beyond unacceptable that these firearms were lost, let alone the fact that they were not recovered, and in some cases were missing for years before anyone knew about it. But for pure luck, it appears that none of the missing firearms ended up in criminals' hands, so we can be thankful for that. But regardless, one shudders to think what might have happened if those missing Uzis or the grenade launchers ended up in the hands of an individual that would be bent on using them for nefarious purposes. The IG found that the GSA had weak and inconsistent, to quote them, weak and inconsistent inventory controls. So the GSA has a responsibility to maintain and track these firearms inventory checks. However, the GSA apparently only determined the need to require validated annual inventory reports in 2014, roughly 14 years into the program's existence. Based on this, it seems the GSA considered an accurate inventory to be an afterthought. Even with recent annual inventory requirements, the practices used by GSA were feeble. The SASPs were provided with only limited training on how to acquire the firearms and conduct inventory review, leaving them on their own to create an inventory process and procedure, resulting in inconsistent procedures across states. We obviously are having this hearing today, and in spite of all of this, what I would ask that each of you do is try to address your remarks. The results of these flaws still remaining is that the firearms may still be subject to the same threat of loss, theft, or improper sale. So I appreciate all of our witnesses coming here today, and I'm optimistic that through our conversations today, we will be able to help safeguard against these firearms being used improperly. I'll now recognize the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Government Operations, Mr. Conley, for his opening remarks.